Indian satellite missions at ISRO. And he has written more than 600 articles on science in both English and Kannada, and also written books on astronomy and space in English and Kannada, and has contributed to many encyclopedias and compendiums. So, with his rich knowledge on astronomy, I am very happy to welcome Dr. B.R. Guruprasad to give this talk. Thank you, sir. And I welcome you all once again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello. Is it audible? Okay. Hello. Hello. Okay. Hopefully, yeah, it is audible now. Ladies and gentlemen, and my colleagues from JN Planetarium, and possibly some of the people who are watching it through YouTube. Okay, good afternoon to all of you. And on the occasion of the International Moon Day, I am very happy to speak to a great audience on the moon. The title of my talk is Moon, Our Next Door Neighbor, Helpful Heavenly Neighbor. You may wonder as to why I have used the word helpful, especially heavenly. Heavenly means relating to the skies. Okay, and I'll try to take you on a journey to the moon, exploration of the moon. Okay, how exciting it was, I'll tell you, and some of the peculiar aspects, some of the interesting aspects of the moon we will discuss in this. At the same time, how moon is being looked into from a different perspective today at this critical time, that too we will examine. I am not going to speak about India's achievements as far as moon is concerned, because that we will reserve it for August 23rd, National Space Day. Today, I localize myself to the moon in general and the exploration of moon at the global level, okay, in particular, okay. So, be ready for this exciting journey, and let me put it on record. I thank all my colleagues who have helped me in preparation of this presentation. Especially, I would like to thank in making this perhaps very interesting. Okay, thanks to you, Deepak. So, the first slide says about the caption, Moon, Our Next Door Helpful Heavenly Neighbor. Why we are here to talk about the moon today? The reason is this: 55 years back, July 21st, 1969 at 8:29 a.m. in the morning, Indian Standard Time, Neil Armstrong put his left foot on the moon, okay, on the surface of the moon. He was the first human being to put his steps on the surface of the moon, and he actually he spoke those historic, immortal words, that's one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind. For him, as a single individual, it would have been a small step for him, but as far as humankind was concerned, it was a giant leap. That is what he meant. What prophetic words, really. So, that is the way that was. July 21st, 1969 at 8:29 a.m. Indian Standard Time. But International Moon Day is celebrated on July 20th, because as per the US time, and generally, okay, that is the time which is accepted. Anyway, we are celebrating International Moon Day here, not because it is as per Indian Standard Time, it is because of convenience. So that it would be better, we thought that. So, all said and done, 55th anniversary of the human landing on the moon, that is what we are commemorating. And it is International Moon Day is celebrated not only to commemorate Neil Armstrong's footsteps on the moon, but to recognize the efforts of other countries also in exploring the moon, as well as how to make the exploration of the moon and the utilization of lunar resources, okay, in a sustainable way. To make people aware of these things, International Moon Day is celebrated. So, in essence, International Moon Day celebrates the achievements of India also. It is not only Neil Armstrong, that is purely contextual, okay, that is the thing. In addition to Neil Armstrong thing, so the efforts of the global community in exploring the moon. Now, this is can we switch off some of the lights here so that we can better appreciate the quality of the slides? See, this is the moon, okay, which is the nearest heavenly body to us, barely at a distance of a little less than 4 lakh kilometers. Yes, fantastic. Okay, that's the thing. And let us see what moon is. See, moon is the only natural satellite of the earth, okay, provided by nature, only natural satellite. Moon has been circling the earth. Scientists say that for the past 400 crore years, roughly, that is 4 billion years, roughly 4 billion years. I am not telling up to third decimal place or anything. That is the one which is usually quoted, 4 billion years. Moon has been circling, scientists say, and that is the only natural satellite, a big natural satellite which we know. But it got a competitor, a tiny competitor on October 4th, 1957, when world's first artificial Earth satellite was launched. Okay, October 4th, 1957, there was a country at that time called Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, or it was also called as Soviet Russia, and that launched the Sputnik 1. Sputnik 1 compared to moon is 1/4 the size of the earth. Compared to that, Sputnik 1 was hardly about 84 kilograms. It was a hollow metallic sphere. That's all. Anyway, that too started circling the earth and the space age dawned. It began. Today, you can see how many satellites are there around the earth in this animation by the European Space Agency. Okay, thousands of artificial satellites are circling the earth. Thousands of artificial satellites are circling the earth, and many of them are not working. Okay, so all are launched by humans into space, but many of them are not working, but some of them are working. Okay, they provide us a lot of services. Okay, that is the thing. Now, look at this picture. This is the picture of the earth and the moon in a single frame. You know who has taken? It is not taken from somewhere near the earth at all. This is from the orbit of Mars. There is an American spacecraft orbiting Mars called Mars Global Surveyor. Okay, you can see that has taken the picture of earth and moon together in a single frame. So, as we see planets from here, from the surface of the earth, like that we can see earth and moon from the surface of Mars, let us say, but this is not from the surface of Mars, from the orbit of Mars. From the surface of Mars, earth and moon look very tiny. In fact, moon may not be visible at all easily, earth is visible at least. How far is the moon? Okay, moon is the nearest heavenly body to us, I told you, 3,84,000. To be more precise, 384,402 kilometers. That is the kind of the distance between the earth and the moon. Okay, this is the distance. And you know, how do we know about the earth moon distance so accurately? Thanks to a device called corner cube retroreflector. In fact, this was placed by Neil Armstrong in July 1969. The property of this is, when a laser beam is directed towards this, it will reflect back the same beam in the parallel direction. So, that is called retroreflector, and from that, now people are able to estimate the distance between earth and moon to centimeter level accuracy, actually, centimeter level. I'll kindly reserve your questions till the end, I'll answer. And now let us talk about the size of the moon, the mass of the moon. How big the moon is? You can see in this picture, Earth has a diameter of about 13,000 kilometers, 12,756 kilometers, and moon has a diameter of about 3,476 kilometers. That is 1/4 the size of the Earth. That is diameter. What about the mass? Mass of the moon. Mass is the amount of matter contained in the moon. That is 81 times less than whatever mass is there in the Earth. 1/81th of the mass of the Earth. So 81 moons in terms of mass will make up one Earth. Okay. So it is less massive and smaller. Together, this smaller size as well as smaller mass, okay, less mass, makes one thing very, very interesting on the surface of the moon. Look at that, the way in which astronauts are walking on the moon. It appears as though they are jumping like kangaroos, okay. I call it as kangaroo hop. That is the way. This is because of the less mass, okay, and the small diameter, okay. These two factors contribute to the surface gravity on the moon being only 1/6 that of the Earth. If you weigh 100 kilograms here on the surface of the Earth, you will weigh only 16 kilograms on the moon. That's the way. So it is easy to jump there, but anyway, when you jump down, you will experience the same kind of thing, okay, maybe slowly. And moon is a horrible place in one more sense, because you know the thing is, the temperature here is now maybe 25 degrees or 30, I don't know. In mobile, if you see, you will see now everything is available. But if you go out, temperature difference will not be much here and there. Or even if you go to USA now, where it is night, not much of a temperature difference will be there. But look at the moon. On the day side, there might be a temperature of more than 100 plus 100 degrees centigrade. On the night side, you may have more than minus 100 degrees centigrade. Very, very difficult in fact. It is not easy for us to live on the surface of the moon. Look at that. This is in the sunlight. This part, this astronaut is in the shade of this boulder, big boulder, Bunde. Okay, but his temperature will be very less compared to an astronaut who is standing on the surface of the moon here. So this is one of the curious things about the moon. Some of the bizarre things I told you, this is due to the lack of atmosphere. Now look at the moon. See, moon while circling the Earth, it always presents one face to us only. Look at that green color thing, it's always facing the Earth. Look at that. So why it is like that? Moon takes 27.3 days to go around the Earth once, but it takes 27.3 days only to spin around its own axis. It is called as synchronous rotation, okay. Because of that, moon behaves like this. And of course, synchronous rotation, see, look at that, the way in which it, in this animation you can see, in addition to that, how the phases of the moon vary also, that is what is shown, okay. Now you can better appreciate how the phases of the moon change from new moon to gibbous, let us say half moon, gibbous, like that, and in the reverse order, okay. This is the way. This is all because both the hemispheres of the moon are equally illuminated by the sun, but how much of that illuminated part is visible to us, that decides about the phase of the moon, okay. If the sun is behind the moon, you will not be able to see moon at all, because it will be illuminating the far side of the moon. So one side, only this side of the moon, okay, near side it is called, this is the only one which you can see. You see for 1 month, nothing will change. What about the other side of the moon? Many people used to say dark side of the moon. It is not dark side of the moon, it is far side of the moon, because it is equally illuminated. When it is Hundime here, when it is a full moon day here, on the far side of the moon it is Amavasya, that is new moon day. So it is equally illuminated, but because moon takes 27.3 days to go around the earth once, and it takes 27.3 days only to spin around its own axis, it always presents only one face to us. I will come to that, how did we able to discern the features on the other side. Now, what kind of a world is moon? What kind of a world? Are there features which are similar to those on earth? Yes, very much. You can see, yeah, you can see actually these bright areas are the highlands actually, okay, they are mountainous, they are on the average, their altitude is very relatively high. But these dark areas, they are called as mare, okay, no, not valleys. Mare means sea, okay, in Latin, mare means Latin, and even today's Italian also, mare means sea, S-E-A-C, that is why mare tranquillitatis, sea of tranquility, that is where Neil Armstrong landed, okay. Mare is singular, Maria is plural, okay, mare tranquillitatis, like that. See, these areas, these dark areas are lowland areas, they are relatively flat areas, and they are like you know, whatever Indo-Gangetic plain, whatever we say, or coastal plains, like that they are, somewhat like that. Look at that, the mountainous areas on the surface of the moon, really how do they look? You can see one of the lunar modules there, sitting there, okay, you can see the mountains there, they look so sharp, you see, compared to those on the earth, okay. That is the speciality of the moon, not peculiarity, speciality of the moon, okay. Now look at that, this is the one of the Maria, okay, this is one of the Mare, that is Mare means sea. Why we call them as Mare, Maria, or singular Mare? Because when Galileo was the first person to look at the heavens, that is the sky, through a telescope, when he turned towards the moon, dark areas, he thought they were water bodies. So many other astronomers, they started observing, and those dark areas, they thought they were water bodies, and very fanciful names. Mare tranquillitatis, sea of tranquility. Oceanus procellarum, ocean of storms, that is where Apollo 12 landed. Mare nubium, sea of rains, like that, fanciful names were provided, but that is not the case. Water is not there on the moon like it is there on the surface of the earth. Water is there on the moon, but I will come to that, but not like seas, lakes, oceans, not like that, okay. Now look at that, this is the way an astronaut is driving his lunar buggy, an automatic car on the surface of the moon, okay. So this is the way it is. Some of us also may experience this, I told in a different lecture, in our roads also, because of potholes, okay, sometimes, but this is the way, this is a global phenomenon, not only in India, everywhere, potholes are there everywhere. So that is the thing. So this is in Mare. And look at that, I would like to show you this picture. In this picture, what you are seeing here, can you see this white chalk kind of feature here? This is the part of the rim of a crater, which is 120 kilometers in diameter. But entire crater you are not seeing, you are seeing the part of the rim of a crater. Who has taken this beautiful picture with so many details? Your own Chandrayaan 1 has taken this. Not today, as early as 2008 this was taken. Okay, and other important features, other very interesting features on the surface of the moon. You might have read one thing. Some cave has been found on the surface of the moon by an American spacecraft. You saw that. I'll tell you about it. And you know, can you see it? Here it appears as though some river has flown, but at the same time this is a valley. This is a sinuous valley. This sinuous means, in Kannada whatever we say, ankudanka ಆಗಿರೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, like snake, that is the way, meandering in English we say, that kind of thing. So this is a sinuous valley, okay. This is called, geologists call this as rill. R-I-L-L-E, rill, okay. This is an exposed valley. Actually, there was a lava tube on the moon, the roof of which has collapsed, and that is how actually this valley has come into picture, this rill has come in. See, this is the picture of a rill taken by Chandrayaan-1 way back in 2008, 2009. See, look at that, this is a rill, this is a valley, can you see this? But at the same time, here also valley is there, but in between that roof has not collapsed, roof is still there. So it is a lava tube which can be used as a dwelling by people who will be living on the moon in future. For example, on the earth you can see a lava tube, how it is like that. Somewhat similar way, lava tube on the moon also will be there. That will provide protection to the people who will live on the moon in future, definitely. Now, I told you moon has been there as per people who specialize in studying the moon. Moon has been in existence for the past 400 crore years or 4 billion years, okay. How did it come into being in fact? It came like a bolt from the blue or what? From the sky? It's not like that. Once upon a time, people were thinking, you know, 3 arguments were there. Earth and moon were formed at the same time, that is 450 crore years back or 4.5 billion years back. That is what people were thinking. But anyway, there were objections to that and that was not accepted. Second one was more interesting. Moon was a vagabond. Some in the early solar system, moon was passing just like that. Earth captured it through its gravity and it made it into a prisoner to circulate, okay, to orbit it. That was the second argument. Even for that, there were objections based on physical laws. Then there was a third, more bizarre argument. It said, when Earth was formed, it was spinning so fast, a piece broke up from the Earth and went away, and it became the moon. That was the third one. Even there were objections to that. Then after Neil Armstrong landed on the surface of the moon, a fourth theory was proposed by William Kaufman and many others, which is depicted in this picture. For example, when Earth was in its primary school, let us say, 400 crore years back means Earth came into existence 450 crore years back. Let me say at 400 crore years back, that is 4 billion years back, a body which is of the size of Mars came and hit the Earth at a particular angle, it seems, at a particular angle. That body has been named as Thea, T-H-E-A, Thea, okay. This is what scientists say, and because of that, not the entire Earth was destroyed, the top portion of the Earth, okay, it got ejected into space, and the body which came and hit it, actually this one, it got totally destroyed, and everything else, whatever debris that was generated by the collision, that was circling the Earth like rings of Saturn, it seems, slowly, not slowly, they say quite early, quite quickly means not 2 months, 3 months like that, let us say some few thousand years or something like that, everything got coalesced and it became the moon. This is what scientists say, I am not telling. Okay, this is the way. When moon was formed, it is very interesting to know. Scientists say that when moon was formed, it was not at a distance of 3,84,000 kilometers as it is now. It was only at a distance of 20,000 kilometers, it seems. When moon was formed, it was circling the Earth 4 billion years back at 20,000, roughly 20,000 kilometers. Oh, what would have been the sight? This would have been the sight if we were to be there, but none of us would have been in a position to live on that Earth, definitely not. But slowly, moon is receding away from the Earth, or moon is receding, okay, it is going away from the Earth, 3.8 centimeters per year. This year, it is at a particular distance, next year, about 4 centimeters, it would be away, like this, it is moving away like that. This is due to tidal interaction of the Earth and the moon, okay, tidal force, let me say. See, this is what I am coming to that. Tides, everybody knows Ubbara Vilita or Bharata Elita, that's what we say in Kannada, okay. The sea level rises, it falls, every day 2 times high tides will be there, 2 times low tides will be there. As far as tides are concerned, the main contributing body is the moon. Sun also contributes, but sun is quite far away. Moon is at a distance of 4 lakh kilometers, sun is at a distance of 15 crore kilometers, though it is very big and massive, but it is very far away. So, as far as tides are concerned, tidal force is predominantly due to moon. Then, okay, in my talk, in the topic of my talk, I said, moon, our next door, helpful heavenly neighbor. That's what I have given it like that. Helpful, why? This is the reason. See, let me go back to the previous slide, this one. When moon was formed very near to the earth, 20,000 kilometers, the tidal force of the moon at that time was so intense. Earth's tidal force on the moon was there, and moon also exerted tidal force. Even today it exerts, okay? And that, generated a lot of waves and such things, tsunamis kind of thing. And whatever organic material that was there in the sea, okay, they could able to mix more effectively, and probably, let me say, that would have accelerated or given rise to life. That is what some people argue, okay. So, life on earth, how it began. Not that moon was responsible for that, moon actually contributed to it. That is what this is. Now, this is one of the reasons why I said moon is very helpful as far as origin of life was concerned. Now, tides are there, and because of this tidal interaction of the moon with the earth, the axis of the earth is stabilized. Axis of the earth from the vertical, if you see, 23.5 degrees, it is tilted 23.5 degrees. It would not have been the case if moon were not to be there. Take the case of Mars, there are no moons which are as massive as our moon. So, axis is not as stable as the earth's axis is as far as Mars is concerned. So, as far as axial stability is concerned, moon is responsible for that. Then you may ask, what? So what? If the moon were not to be there, what would have happened? Then in such a case, earth's axis would have tilted so much. Then it is not easy for life to sustain, because there will be wild fluctuations in the weather and climate on the surface of the earth, which is not the case, and moon is responsible for this, scientists say. So that is why it is definitely helpful. Third thing, in the history and evolution of the solar system, lot of meteorites, that is small pieces of comets and asteroids, as well as asteroids and comets themselves, they have come towards the earth and hit the earth. But sometimes moon has acted as a shield and protected. That is why I said moon is a helpful neighbor, helpful heavenly next door neighbor. That is the word I gave. So, moon is a very, very useful body as far as we are concerned. In the past, in the future also it will be useful. I will tell you why. I'll come to that. I'll come to this one. See, you may think that only scientists, astronomers, mathematicians, philosophers, only these people are interested in the moon. You think that is not the case. Even poets have been influenced by the moon. For example, take the case of Kalidasa. All of us know Kalidasa, okay, what capability he had or how capable he was. He has written masterpieces, Meghadoot, Rutu Samhara, Malavikagni-mitra, Vikramorvashiya, Raghuvamsha, Kumara Sambhava, Abhignana Shakuntala, so many things he has written. And he compares beauty. They say, there is a saying in Sanskrit, Upama Kalidasa, say, as far as simile is concerned, comparing, nobody can beat Kalidasa, they say. So, one story is there, the story goes like this. You have to take it with a pinch of salt. One of the friends of Kalidasa challenged him, it seems. Say, you write great epics, not epics, let us say great poems or great dramas, okay, great literature, let me say. And you compare beautiful women with the moon and all those things. Abhignana Shakuntala, look at that, the way in which he has depicted. what we say Saundarya kind of thing. But I want to challenge you, whether you compare moon with something related to buffalo, he asked it. So goes the story. But Kalidasa took it as a challenge and he designed this couplet, it seems in Sanskrit. I will give you the translation in English and Kannada. Bhojanam dehi Rajendra, Gruta supa samanvitam, Mahishancha Sharachandra, Chandrika dhavalam dadihi, he said. Bhojanam dehi Rajendra, the patron king of Kalidasa was Bhojaraja. If you go to Bhopal, Raja Bhoj airport is there, fantastic. Bhojanam dehi Rajendra, oh my patron king, you provide me sumptuous lunch. What it should contain? Gruta supa samanvitam, enough of ghee and enough of dal. Gruta supa samanvitam, ಒಳಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾಗಿರಬೇಕು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ. Then second line is the most important. Mahishancha Sharachandra Chandrika dhavalam dadihi. Of course it should contain one item. Without that it is impossible. It should contain curds made from buffalo milk, which is as white as the beauty of the full moon in the post monsoon period. Sharad ಋತುವಿನ ಚಂದ್ರನ ಕಾಂತಿ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಇರುತ್ತೋ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಮನಾದಂತಹ ಎಮ್ಮೆಯ ಹಾಲಿನಿಂದ ಮಾಡಿದ ಮೊಸರನ್ನು ನನಗೆ ಊಟದಲ್ಲಿ ದಯಪಾಲಿಸು. That is what it. Look at the capability of Kalidasa. So goes the story. I don't know really. There are different versions of this. Yesterday I was reading out one more version, but this version it looks far more acceptable in fact. So much so about Kalidasa. So Sanskrit poets, no doubt about it. All over the world it is like this. Look at that. William Shakespeare, A Midsummer Night's Dream. It's one of the masterpieces of him. How slow this old moon wanes. She lingers my desires, like to a stepdame or a dowager, long withering out a young man's revenue. So says the Shakespeare. Not only in this is one of the examples in many of the things, whether it is King Lear, Merchant of Venice, all these things he writes about. So what I want to insist here is, it is not only the scientists, mathematicians, astronomers who have been influenced by moon, even poets have been influenced. So much so about the ancient poets. What about the modern thing in India? For us, modern poems means obviously cinema. Okay? All the Indian languages, if you see, they have songs which are related to moon. It's not coming. Okay, I'll play it again. Okay, I'll replay it. See, this is on Kannada song. Okay, long back. Even many of the adults here may not remember this, but this song everybody knows all over. சின்ன சின்ன ஆசை சிறகடிக்கும் ஆசை முத்து முத்து ஆசை முடிந்து வைத்த ஆசை வெண்ணிலவு தொட்டு முத்தமிட ஆசை என்னை இந்த பூமி சுற்றி வர ஆசை சின்ன சின்ன ஆசை. Okay, what she is singing is, as I understand, I don't know much about Tamil, what she is telling is, of course, I have small desires, ones which can be hidden, okay, but vennilava thottu, that means I want to touch the moon, she says. See, touching the moon, this kind of fascination is there for humans since time immemorial. So what? Let us go to Hindi, okay, let us see what happens. चांद से बारिश जो करता हमारी देता वो तुमको बता शर्मो है आके पर्दे गिरा के करनी है हमको खता. Okay, all said and done. This is from the movie Fana, from Javed Akhtar. Chand sifarish to karta hamare. See, look at the moon, something to do with love. That is the way. That is the way. Culture and moon. That's what I want to say, not about cinema and all those things. It is part of the Indian psyche of the humans in general, Indians in particular. That's what I say, irrespective of the language. That is the way it is. So, next, let us go to the exploration of the moon. I told you about ancient people and some characteristics of the moon, interesting things about the moon. What about the exploration of the moon? We'll go to that. See, moon was studied with the help of Galileo Galilei started observing the moon from 1610 onwards, 1609, 1610 AD onwards. And I told you the word mare was actually came into being at that time. So then, you know, for centuries, people observed the moon using telescopes. But then what happened? There were lingering doubts. For example, some scientists said that actually one cannot land on the surface of the moon. Surface of the moon is like quicksand, they said. Usubu anta, what we say in Kannada. It is a kind of sand, you know, once you step on that, slowly you will drown yourself into it. Quicksand. So they were telling it is like that. So people were very scared. Is it true? Even in 1960s, before late 1950s, people were believing that. But anyway, on October 4th, 1957, the former Soviet Union, USSR, actually launched a spacecraft called Sputnik 1. Okay. So that ushered in the space age, and from that time onwards, many spacecraft were sent towards the moon. Actually, let me tell you, today we are commemorating, one of the things is Neil Armstrong's setting foot on the moon. But USSR in those days was a pioneering country. Side of the moon, I told you, you know, the other side of the moon, I told you, you know, the other side of the moon which is not visible, that was photographed for the first time. When it came near the earth, it transmitted it, and look at that. This was the crude picture transmitted by that spacecraft, but now better pictures are there. Look at that. What is striking is, this is the way the near side looks, that is the one which is visible to us, and this is where Neil Armstrong landed. This is called Sea of Tranquility, Mare Tranquillitatis, this one. Look at that, this is totally different compared to this. Nobody knew. Till 1959, humans did not know how did it look. Today we know, of course, better pictures are there. Look at that. So, this is the way moon looks. Okay, this is an Apollo picture. Apollo 8 has taken this picture. So, it has plenty of craters, millions or hundreds of millions of craters. That is why once upon a time in cinema songs, you know, beautiful dames were being compared to the moon. So, there was no, you know, the thing is, it was so perfect, the face they were thinking. But look at the moon, it has millions of craters. It is like, you know, the kind of, some kind of rashes kind of thing, okay. So, then in 1966, see all this, going near the moon, hitting the surface of the moon, taking the far side of the moon's picture, 1959. In 1966, Lunik 9 or Luna 9 became the first spacecraft to land on the surface of the moon without any problem. It didn't hit, it gently settled down. Then it didn't go down as though it was going into a quicksand. That was the time when humans got sure, they were sure that a spacecraft landing on the surface of the moon will not sink into it. I'll tell you that. They came later. This was in 1966. Then, you know, when all these things were being done by the Soviet Union, the Cold War competitor of USSR, those days USA, really its psyche was hurt, because technologically they were the first, they were thinking, and of course they were to a certain extent or to a large extent. So anyway, in 1968 they launched a spacecraft towards the moon, and Apollo 8, they circled the moon and came back. They didn't land. On July 16th, 1969, okay, they launched Apollo 11. I just want to show, instead of talking about 1.5 minute video, how the rocket which launched Neil Armstrong's Saturn V, how mighty it was, I want to show you through this video. Just have a look at it. Look at that. The rocket was as high as a 36-story building. 36-story building. Look at that. The rocket weighed 3,000 tons. 3,000 tons. Look at that. See, all these things had to work perfect. Look at that, the way in which it is going up. Look at the rocket engines. This rocket, when it lifted off, 5 engines were firing. Each engine consumed 3,000 kilograms of propellant per second. 3,000 kilograms by the time you wing. So 15 tons of propellant was being washed out per second. That is how it could able to lift off. Look at that. The engines, they are called as F1 engines. In Kennedy Space Center, you can see this very nicely. Look at that, the way in which this is a class payload Apollo 11 space. Apollo. Look at that. Look at the engines. In fact, how they are firing. Yeah, this is the launch pad. You see how it is. It has taken a beat. See, this is a classic case for combustion. How efficient the combustion can be. Look at that. This is in slow motion. It won't go that slow. Just look at. You can observe many interesting things, students. You can ask me questions later. Look at that. 36-story high rocket, and there is the Apollo spacecraft in the top. Yeah, that is where Apollo space. Neil Armstrong is sitting there. Anyway. So it is going supersonic. When it is going supersonic, you see the way in which, see the way in which it's accelerating. Yeah, that's the thing. Now let us proceed. So July 16th, 1969, Apollo 11 was launched. Okay, July 21st at 8:29 a.m., Neil Armstrong, he became the first human being to set foot on the moon.
The surface appears to be very, very fine grained as you get close to it. It's almost like a powder. Ground mass is very fine. I'm going to step off the limb. It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Oh, that looks beautiful.
So that's it. That's one small step. I'll come to that. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. That is what, it is his own voice. Whatever was recorded, I replayed it. So that is the thing. And from that time onwards, you know, this is the footstep, human footstep, which will be there on the surface of the moon. Excuse me. It will be there on the surface of the moon for millions of years, or at least tens of thousands of years. Nothing will happen to it. On the surface of the earth, it would have been over after some time. But on the moon, there is no water, at least flowing water like that, no air. So it will be there, just like that. Okay, that footstep, Neil Armstrong's footstep. Okay. And you know, the thing is, this is Neil Armstrong, of course. Why I am showing this picture? Many people think that man on the moon, I showed you the very first slide was that. People think that this is Neil Armstrong. This is not the case. This is Edwin Aldrin, the second man of the moon, whose picture was taken by Neil Armstrong. If you want to see Neil Armstrong, can you see that? He is taking the picture. That is the reflection from the visor of Edwin Aldrin. You can see that. He is there. See, unfortunately, Edwin Aldrin could not take any good picture of Neil Armstrong when they were on the surface of the moon. Though Neil Armstrong became the first human being to set foot on the moon, his pictures are not there. Unfortunate it is. Okay, anyway, all said and done, you know, 6 Apollo spacecraft landed on the surface of the moon between 1969 and 1972. Apollo 11, Apollo 12, Apollo 13 had an accident, it didn't land. Anyway, Hollywood movie you would have seen. If you have not seen, I would request you to see that. Apollo 11, Apollo 12, Apollo 14, Apollo 15, Apollo 16, Apollo 17. So 12 people have walked on the moon. All the 12 together, they have brought back 382 kilograms of the lunar rock and soil samples. By analyzing a rock like this brought back by them, I told you how moon came into being due to collision. I said that could able to be proposed based on the analysis of such rocks. Look at that. What is the use of space flight? One may think. This is one. A surface. Surface. Okay. Then, Soviet Union at that time, due to various reasons, I don't want to go into that, it could not land its astronaut on the surface of its space traveler on the surface of the moon due to various reasons. But anyway, it sent robotic probes, robotic vehicles to the surface of the moon. They were called as lunokhodies, and that's how they explored. And of course, they brought back soil samples using spacecraft itself. After Americans landed on the surface of the moon and beat the Soviet Union, there was no more interest there. After all, they had beaten. So the interest waned slowly. Then between 1972, when Apollo 17 became the last Apollo spacecraft to lift off from the surface of the moon, from Apollo 17 in 1972 December till 1990, no spacecraft went to moon. 1972 to 1990, there was no spacecraft to moon. But in 1990, Japan launched a spacecraft towards the moon called Hiten. And from that time onwards, the second phase of the lunar exploration began. And in this phase, it is not only USA and USSR, there is no USSR now. In addition to USA, Russia, China is there, India is there, Korea is there, Israel is there, okay? Japan is there, so many countries, European Space Agency is there, all of them. And in addition to government agencies, private companies are also going to the moon. This was the spacecraft picture. The spacecraft was Clementine. When the spacecraft picture came, they thought that water was there in the polar areas of the moon. Water ice. Okay, that excited scientists, and that contributed to a lot of spacecraft being sent towards the moon. And of course, in 2008, of course, I told you so many countries sent the spacecraft. Chandrayaan-1 was launched in 2008, and you can see the spacecraft Chandrayaan-1 being readied for launch at Sriharikota. Okay, this was in 2008. October 22nd, 2008 was the launch of Chandrayaan-1 by PSLV, and this is called Moon Impact Probe. This was a 37 kilogram TV sized, old TV sized object or gadget, let us say. It went and hit the surface of the moon. Chandrayaan-1 was circling, nothing happened to it. Deliberately, this was detached from Chandrayaan-1 spacecraft. It was deliberately sent towards the surface of the moon and impacted and broke to pieces. Deliberate it was. So India became the fourth country to reach the surface, not land, reach the surface of the moon, okay, in 2008 itself. And of course, if you think that rocket and spacecraft themselves are marvels of engineering which India has excelled, what about this? Very near to Bengaluru, there is one place called Indian Deep Space Network, IDSN. There is an antenna actually which is 105 feet in diameter, 300 tons weight, very, very sensitive antenna, built with Indian technology, and proved itself in Chandrayaan-1, Chandrayaan-2, Chandrayaan-3, Mangalyaan, everything. Great. Indians have to be proud of this. One of the greatest engineering feats of India. No, it is at a place called Byalalu, near big banyan tree is there, Ramnagar. Near that it is there, okay, full Indian technology, okay. Then look at that, what is the use of Chandrayaan? Our chairman, former chairman of ISRO, as well as our chairman of the governing council of Jawaharlal Nehru Planetarium, Shri Kiran Kumar sir, he says, don't think that everything has been discovered by somebody else, we don't have anything to discover. Let us try. Look at that, Chandrayaan-1 finds water on the moon. So many spacecraft went to moon. 12 people walked on the moon. Ultimately, when Chandrayaan went to circle the moon, Chandrayaan-1, it detected water on the moon. It was the first spacecraft. Of course, the instrument was American, but the spacecraft was ours only. It worked as part of the spacecraft. Even the instrument, people who built it, they said, yes, we should say Chandrayaan only. See, look at that. This is what India has excelled. Let us be proud of it. And of course, the next logical step for India was Chandrayaan 2. Chandrayaan 2 is, first we made hard landing. Now let us make a soft landing. Slowly let us land on the surface of the moon. That's what we thought. Unfortunately, the spacecraft, the Vikram lander of Chandrayaan 2, when it went to the moon, and everything went very well till it was about 2 kilometers from the surface of the moon, roughly 2 kilometers. Then things went wrong. We could not accomplish it. So what? Indians started crying, isn't it? ISRO started crying or what? Nothing. What was the mistake? It was painstakingly it was analyzed. Painstakingly it was analyzed, and Chandrayaan 3 was launched. And before that, you look at these pictures. Even today, Chandrayaan 2 would not have been in a position to, okay, Chandrayaan 2 could not land on the surface of the moon. But what about the orbiter? Even today, at this moment of time, it is still circling the moon. Chandrayaan 2, I am telling, not Chandrayaan 3. Chandrayaan 2 orbiter is circling. It has 8 instruments. It is sending fantastic data. It has sent fantastic data, and you can see some of the best pictures of the moon. Look at that. 3D pictures also are there. In fact, that was instrumental in making Chandrayaan 3 a success. So Chandrayaan 2, everything was not lost. That is the thing. One should know that that has not been publicized. Okay? And recently I read that, I don't know, I don't have first-hand information. Some news agency or some news outlet reported that recently Japan landed their SLIM lander, SLIM lander, and in selecting its landing site, our Chandrayaan 2 data was used, it seems. That is what I understand. I read somewhere. I'm not sure about it. This is one source. Okay, this is the way Chandrayaan 3 was launched. This is the Vikram lander. This is the propulsion module. This entire thing was launched on LVM-3, and you can see the Pragyan rover. Next month we are having a gala program on the occasion of the first landing of on the first anniversary of the successful landing of Chandrayaan 3 on the surface of the moon. India became the first country to land in the south polar region of the moon, not South Pole itself, south polar region of the moon. India was the first country to commemorate that. Prime Minister said it should be celebrated as National Space Day, which we are going to celebrate here. Here also we have a lot of programs coming up for that. Of course, we will seek the help of ISRO also in this regard. I am sure that they would do that. Okay. And so we have models. I don't want to say preempt anything, but we have a good program, I can assure you, that on to celebrate the National Space Day. And now the Prime Minister named the spot where we landed, Chandrayaan 3 landed, it was called as Shiv Shakti, and the International Astronomical Union has recently, it has accepted that. Stasio Shiv Shakti, it has accepted the station Shiv Shakti, that is the kind of thing, it has accepted that, okay. So this is the Pragyan, so this is the Pragyan rover, which moved about 100 meters on the surface of the moon. And of course, I don't want to say much about this because next month we have a program. And this is the launch of Chandrayaan 3 by LVM-3 on July 14th, 2023. And it took more than 40 days to reach the surface of the moon. On August 23rd, 2023 at 6:03 p.m., it settled down on the surface of the moon, and Pragyan rover is going out of that. And I would show you the picture of the century according to me, okay. Look at that. This is the picture of, this is the picture of Vikram lander. The picture is taken by Pragyan rover from the surface. Look at that, your country's spacecraft is sitting on the surface of the moon. Great, that is the kind. So this is the thing. So anyway, it has actually Chandrayaan 3, it has got a laser reflector, okay. And actually that was actually energized by a US spacecraft. It responded, another report I said, okay, these are all normal, okay, that is the thing. And let me tell you, in the next 5 minutes, let me tell you about the Artemis program. I told you we are celebrating today 55th anniversary of the human landing, Neil Armstrong landing. But on December 17th, 1972, Apollo 17 lunar module lifted off from the surface of the moon. Okay? From that time onwards, no human being has landed on the moon till now. Look at that. That's a fantastic. You see, many students ask me, how do they go back to space, or how astronauts have come back from the surface of the moon?
4 days, push, engine arm is empty. Okay, I'm going to get the pro. 99, proceeded, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Right away, Houston. Vector grid. Ag thought. Pitch over. Okay, you have good thrust.
So, that's the way it is. So, they used rocket power only to come back from the surface of the moon back to Earth. Okay? Now, December 17, 1972, after that, 52 years are over almost. Nobody has gone. No human being has landed on the surface of the moon. But anyway, USA today, in association with many countries, okay, and private companies, it is having Artemis program. Okay, Apollo program was earlier. What is the intention of the Artemis program? Artemis program is for the sustainable presence of humans on the moon. It is not only to further explore the moon using human beings, but to have a sustainable presence there. That is, continuously you should be capable of. Adu moon ge first. That is the thing. So this is the thing. The first Artemis launch was in 2022. Okay, that was there were no astronauts or anything. It was unmanned. Nowadays, unmanned word is not there. Uncrewed, CREWED, uncrewed, I would say. That's the thing. Next one is coming up this year end, not this year end, 2025, September or something. Humans are going to land on the moon, it seems, optimistically in 2026 second half. That's what reports say. That kind of thing. India is also a signatory to Artemis Accords only. Artemis Accords. India is a signatory to it, no doubt about it. We are a confirmed space power today, no doubt about it. We have the capability, so it's natural for us. That's what the government has taken. And in Artemis, there are 3 elements. One is the SLS launch system like Saturn V. This is a very big rocket which has been proven. And this is the Orion spacecraft where, 5 to 6 human beings can travel, okay, in this. And there is a space station. Today, International Space Station is circling the Earth at 400 kilometers height. But as part of the Artemis program, NASA wants to launch a space station around the moon. It is called Gateway. Okay? Okay, then from the Gateway, you have to land on the surface of the moon. Oh, probably that is Elon Musk's SpaceX Starship. Probably that will be the one. Probably. I would not qualify it. And why we are going to moon again? What makes people to spend so much of money to go to moon? There are resources. There are fuel resources, there are mineral resources, there is water, there is oxygen, there is hydrogen. This picture shows different colors are different minerals on the surface of the moon. Okay, that's the thing. And there is one substance called helium-3. That is an isotope of helium, which is supposed to be a very clean fuel for a future fusion reactor. No fusion reactor like that has been built. So that is a potential fuel, clean fuel for the future nuclear fusion reactors. That is what. But anyway, no, technology always advances. Who knows what happens. So helium-3 can be mined on the moon. Compared to Earth, it is easy to find on the moon. Okay. So that is why helium-3, oxygen, hydrogen, water, minerals, especially rare earth materials, rare earth metals. That is the thing. What is the use of water? Is there on the moon? What do I do with it? Water, I can use it either for drinking, but of course it has to be tested properly before that. Otherwise, you electrolyze water, you get oxygen, you get hydrogen. Oxygen you use for breathing, hydrogen you use it as fuel. Or oxygen and hydrogen you combine into water. Oxygen and hydrogen, you combine, it will, in a cryogenic engine, rocket thrust will be there. So there are so many things. Water, oxygen, hydrogen, metals, fuel. All these things are available on. And even lunar concrete, you know, the top layer of the lunar soil is called as regolith. Regolith. Even people are starting to develop technologies to build bricks using the regolith material. And lava tubes I showed you, they can serve as shelters for human habitation on the moon in future. And this is one of the pictures where, you know, lot of things are being, you know, propellants are being loaded to a vehicle, probably for rocket launch kind of thing from the surface of the moon. People already are talking about lunar economy. Lunar economy. See, building launch pads there, providing services like internet service providers, you know, there also they want to provide, okay, and mobility vehicles like taxis here, that kind of thing, you know, in a crudest way I can tell you. So these are the things which are being talked about. Moon is a rich source of materials, okay, which are essential for our industrial civilization. This belief has made human beings to go to moon again, okay. And of course, many scientists are already grumbling that a lot of electromagnetic wave pollution is there on the side of the moon facing the earth. So if we build telescopes on the far side of the moon, well and good, it is free from electromagnetic waves pollution in fact. So you can observe the universe, okay, in a better way, and astronomy can grow. The horizon of astronomy can be pushed much further. So this is the thing. So these are the things, and this is the reason why moon is being looked from a different perspective. And of course they say moon is a stepping stone to Mars. In fact, Mars is quite far away. Moon is only 4 lakh kilometers away. Mars, even when it is very near to Earth, it is about 5.5 crore to 6 crore kilometers away. 150 times. You can't go to Mars just like that. Alignment of the planets and all those things you have to see. So, if you want to have a feel of how things are, you can feel such things on the surface of the moon and develop technologies. You can have that experience very near to Earth. So that is why moon is a stepping stone, a springboard to the human exploration of the solar system. With this belief, moon is being looked into from a different perspective, both from business point of view, exploration point of view, and what not in fact. From many perspectives, moon has become a very, very favorite place for many people, engineers, scientists, maybe philosophers, or even poets, maybe in future. How the future society living on the moon will be, that's a good case study kind of thing. So, moon will be a very, very exciting place in the decades to come. So, on the occasion of the 55th anniversary of the first human landing on the moon, so we had this program, and in this lecture I have tried my level best to provide you a brief glimpse of the various aspects of the moon, its origin, evolution, as well as exploration and its future utilization of its resources, and how it can be converted as a springboard to the further exploration of the outer solar system. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Once again, I thank Deepak and others for helping me in this. And now, if you have any questions, I'll be the happiest person.
Yeah,
if I know.
thank you.
Yeah, I know that you have a lot of questions. Yes. Yeah.
ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ
ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ಹೇಳಿ.
ಅದ್ರ ಆಂಟಿನಾ RF ಆಂಟಿನಾ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ರಿ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್.
Yes, future, because you know, not today, in future. I'll tell you, no, except for China, nobody has landed on the far side of the moon. Okay? Only China, that too on an experimental basis, it has a small rover. Okay? No, everything has to be developed. Okay? That is.
But ISS study, it is worldwide across, right? Not
No, ISS is in Earth orbit, International Space Station.
Anybody can access around the globe, sir.
Anybody
Far
means
side, near side,
no, not anybody. A cooperative agreement has to be there. Otherwise, nobody will be allowed just like that.
ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಪುಟ್ನಿಕ್ ದಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಬಂದಿರೋದಲ್ಲ ISS ಗೆ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು.
No.
Not that way, sir.
No, not that way. Okay. Any other question?
Sir, thank you. That was a very informative session. Just want to go back to that slide where you were mentioning about the helpful aspects of moon, how it has helped us, how it is helping us. The first point was about how it is shielding us from meteorites.
Yes, and asteroid and cometary impacts.
Exactly,
yes.
sir. And the second point that you made...
Not today. Today, number of comets, asteroids coming, not that much.
Across
long
millennials
back,
and
long
across...
back, yes.
Yes. So the second point that you made there was that's something that fascinated me about the origin of life.
Yes, life, yes.
So that is one of the theories, right? Or
yes,
is
it one of the theories.
Okay. No, I was just wondering about on those lines, and ನನಗನ್ಸಿದ್ದು ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಸರ್ ಇವಾಗ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು ಅದು ಗುರುತ್ವಾಕರ್ಷಣ ಇದ್ರ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಗ್ರಾವಿಟೇಷನಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಮೂನ್ ಇಂದ ಅರ್ಥಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬ ಸುನಾಮೀಸ್ ಆಗ್ತು, and then the organic matter or something like came up and
no, organic material was there in the sea and oceans.
See,
because of this tidal interaction, tidal force in the tides ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಇವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಆ ಟೈಡ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ನೂ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗರ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಅವಾಗ ತುಂಬ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ಆವಾಗ ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಕಮ್ ದೇರ್ ವಾಸ್ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ ಫಾರ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಟು ಚರ್ನ್.
ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್.
ಓಕೆ, ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ವೆಲ್.
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಚರ್ನ್ ಆಗೋದಲ್ವಾ?
ಹೌದು, ಇತ್ತು.
ಓಕೆ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮೂನ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗಿರೋದು ಅರ್ಥ ತುಂಡಿಂದಾನೆ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ತೋರಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ರಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಥದ ಗ್ರಾವಿಟೇಷನ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಮೂನಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಚರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ದು? ಅವಾಗ
ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ಆಗಿದ್ದು. ಸೇ oceans did not form at the time of moon getting originated because of the collision. After that, earth cooled down and oceans formed, in fact.
Okay, oceans ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ನೀವು?
ಅಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ there is another theory. Organic molecules were brought in. There is a theory called panspermia ಅಂತ. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ these are all theories. Okay, this is the thing. Lot of research has to go into this.
Okay.
So anyway, moon came into being around 400 crore years back or 4 billion years back, I said. At that time, earth was very hot still. It was a hell with lot of volcanoes, lava all over that. Slowly it cooled down.
So a cool down ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ?
Yes.
Okay.
Cool down ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ moon already was formed.
Correct.
But it was very near to earth. Because of that, its tidal force, tidal interaction, okay, tidal effect, I would say, due to gravitation, tidal effect was far formidable compared to today. That is how organic molecules which were there, they could able to better mix. That is what is told normally. Okay, this is one of the...
But contrary should also be true alwa sir? Earthdu gravity moon ಮೇಲೆ ಆ churn ಆಗಿರಬಹುದಲ್ಲ sir? Organic material anyway is coming from earth. Moon was formed from the earth itself at some point.
Correct.
So there should be organic matter there also, right?
No. ಆವಾಗ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನು. It was only lava kind of thing. See, ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ನನಗೆ. No, not that. See, this organic material, that problem came into being. First of all, ಈ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಇಂದ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಥಿಯರಿ. ಅನದರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ಸ್ themselves.
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮೂನ್ ಸೆಪರೇಟ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ
ಬಂದಿರಬಹುದು ಅಂತ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ panspermia, that kind of thing, or even some of the amino acids, that kind of thing.
Speculations ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಸರ್?
Speculation, everything is speculation unless you have, in science there is a hypothesis. A hypothesis becomes a theory when you have enough proof for that. See, Einstein said, okay, E equals mc squared. Light also has mass, that is. So when light is passing through a gravitational field, actually what happens is it will bend, he said. But there was no proof for that. It was a hypothesis. But they sent an expedition over West Africa. Sir Arthur Eddington went and they observed it. Largely they observed it. Precisely they didn't observe. They observed it. So that was the proof. Then it became a theory. So that is how. These are all, I would not say speculation, educated guess, I would say. Somewhat. I don't know. But let me tell you, all this I told you in the past 1 hour or so. Kindly consider it as though it is coming from a passionate science communicator. And maybe, since I am director here, you can say director. But the thing is, I am not speaking on behalf of ISRO. I am not speaking on behalf of NASA or anybody. As a passionate science writer, I talked about this. Okay? Kindly keep it in mind. Okay? I am a science writer and broadcaster basically. Yes, sir. Please.
So when you said like India discovered water on the moon first time, right? What did we do differently that was not done before?
Pardon? What?
Like India discovered,
Yeah,
like Chandrayaan
correct.
discovered water on the moon, right? So what did we do differently in that, like which was not done before?
Yeah,
And
especially for a particular wavelength in which you have to look, for water, that sensor had it in fact. Okay? A particular kind of sensor, it was called as Moon Mineralogy Mapper, M3 or MQ. Actually, it was a NASA facilitated instrument. But it didn't work as M3, it worked as part of Chandrayaan 1. So that is all. Even the designers themselves acknowledge, yes, Chandrayaan is the one. We are thankful to Chandrayaan, the designer said, Dr. Carle Peterson.
yeah, one more question. When you look at the far side of the moon and like the near side of the moon, like why does it look so different, like both of
I
them?
expected this question. Again, I will come to him. Yeah, anyway, he has preempted. Okay, all said and done, let me tell you why it is like that. This is a puzzle. Say, one argument is the crust there on the far side of the moon is thicker compared to the crust here. Then next question, why it is thicker there? I was just going through this one. One of the arguments is, see, this is the argument, relatively recently, okay. Earlier I had read reports that, the thing is the tidal interaction with the earth, even after a moon turned only one face towards the earth, even after that this interaction, because of that, it became more of a, amenable material for lava to come out kind of thing. But now the latest thing is, when this moon was there, another moon was also there it seems, long back. It came and hit this, hit not that side, this side itself it hit. And lot of material was thrown out, that material got deposited on the back side itself. So that is why that crust is thicker, that is why it is different compared to this. These darker things are lava. See, lot of meteoroids, asteroids, they came and hit. After that, due to heat, lava came out and spread over the surface of the moon. That is the thing. This is what is the latest thing. Good question, really. I expected this. Yeah. Any other question?
Here, sir.
Yeah.
It's a similar question. I just saw the near side and the far side of the moon. And on the near side, I always used to wonder what are these craters. I mean, you see the black patch, lot of black patches on the near side.
Yeah.
And they have named it as Oceanus.
That's what I said. 1 minute, I will tell you. That is what, when they were looked for the first time using a telescope, Galileo Galilei was the first one, and his contemporary colleagues, astronomers, they looked at it. Okay, the dark areas, they got confused, they thought they were water bodies, large water bodies. That is why they gave fanciful names. Sea of Tranquility, there is no water, flowing water there. Okay, Sea of Tranquility, Ocean of Storms, there is nothing. Mare Nubium, there, you see, you can see, Mare Tranquillitatis, Oceanus Procellarum, Mare Nubium, Mare Nectaris, Sea of Nectars, okay. Like that, very fanciful names are there. The dark thing is due to a kind of mineral called basalt, okay, that's a volcanic material. Basalt and mainly basalt, let me say, okay, that is the thing. Any other question? Yes, my friend is there. So many questions he will ask now. I have to be ready.
Sir?
Yes.
How does the moon contain little bit water called lunar water if it has no hydrogen?
Good. Hey, give me a big hand here, really. Okay. Moon does not have hydrogen on its own, let us see. Okay. Sun is there, it is constantly throwing out lot of particles every second, even now, lots and lots. It consists mostly of what we say protons. Don't worry about it. It is some kind of a hydrogen that has come and got deposited there. Okay. On Earth it cannot come and get deposited like this because we have a magnetic field. Moon does not have a magnetic field. So it will come and deposit, and that combines with oxygen in the rocks, and that is how water is formed and hydrogen is. Good, good, good. Really.
And sir, there is more than 4 phases of the moon.
There is more than
4 phases of the moon.
Yes.
There are new moon,
Full moon,
full moon,
half moon, gibbous moon, all are there. Crescent moon, yes.
Crescent moon, waning crescent,
Yeah.
waning gibbous,
Very good. Waxing crescent, waning crescent. Yes, correct. Yes.
and
What's your question?
and the Earth has more than one moon, but they're asteroids.
What more than one moon? What happened to the other moons?
They are asteroids. They got
Oh, you might have read. Yes, yes. Some of them, yeah, they share the Earth orbit. Maybe temporarily some asteroids. There are reports that they were there like that. But as far as a large body is concerned, only one.
They were caught in Canberra.
Yeah, that's true. Could be. Could
Like
be.
in
Yes,
rain.
possibly.
Sometimes in rain it was caught.
What?
Sometimes in rain it was caught.
Okay, okay. Good, good, good. Very nice, very nice. See, he is giving good information. Nice. Yeah. Next. Any other question? Very nice, very nice. Okay.
Timeline is the existence of life
On
our universe.
Yeah.
Event period. So ಈಗ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಡೈನೋಸರ್ಸ್
ನೀವು ಡೈನೋಸಾರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಬಿಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ ತನಕ ಯಾಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ? ಅರ್ಥ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗಿ.
ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಬರಿಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ.
ಹೌದು, ಖಂಡಿತ ಖಂಡಿತ.
ಸೇಮ್ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಬರಿಡ್ ಇನ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಆಫ್
No, it is not buried. It is not buried. It is there on the surface itself.
ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರೆ ಎವಾಪರೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
ಹೆಂಗೆ ಎವಾಪರೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? ಎವಾಪರೇಟ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. There is nothing wrong in it.
ಓಝೋನ್ ಲೇಯರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ.
That is what I am telling. ಓಝೋನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡಿ. ನಾನು ಹೇಳೋದು ಎವಾಪರೇಟ್ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಡಿಸೋಸಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ವಾಟರ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ಅದಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಗುಡ್ ರೀಸನ್ ವೈ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್. This is one of the things. All over the surface of the moon, water has been detected. But near the poles, it is more.
ಈಗ ನಾವು ಡ್ರಿಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ 500 feet ವಾಟರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅವೈಲೇಬಲ್.
ಎಲ್ಲಿ? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗ್ಬತ್ತೆ ಬಿಡಿ, ಅದ್ರದ್ದು ಬೇರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್ ಬೇರೆ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ದಟ್ ಒನ್.
ಸೇಮ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್.
ನೋ ನೋ ನೋ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಬಿಡಿ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಇದೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್. ಎನಿ ಅದರ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್? Water is water molecule. State, I don't know really. How do you quantify it? In fact, how do you characterize it? Okay, water H2O. H2O in the form of ice in the polar areas, but H2O molecules in very small quantity. Very small quantity. Water molecules. Actually, the thing is, if you take 1 ton of lunar soil, that is regolith, you will get 1 liter of water.
Ocean water contaminated.
I don't know. Nobody has seen it. It has to be. I cannot characterize it.
Water
Yeah, you know, it is exposed to space. Yes, yes, that boy there. Please.
Sir,
Tell him.
is there any reason why there are more of these July missions for the moon?
No.
Any
There
particular
was no reason why July. No.
No.
Which other missions are there?
I mean, this especially the first one was in July, started in July. Any
See,
particular reason?
If you look at the history of the Apollo program, many things got changed. Okay, depending on, you know, they didn't want to be preempted by somebody else. That somebody was USSR at the time.
No, is there anything like the closeness to the
No,
Earth? Nothing
see,
like that.
Moon is close. Moon is far away. Okay, apogee perigee is there for moon also. After all, it is circling the Earth.
That's what
I don't think that factor was very much in. Probably it would have been considered, not predominantly. It would have contributed, but not much.
For us, I mean, basically is a cost factor also because.
Yes, yes. See, that is why now resources are there on the moon, But those resources, there is no point in bringing them back to earth. To bring them back to earth, you have to spend lots and lots of energy and lots and lots of cost. It transforms into cost. Okay, that is why in situ resource utilization, they say. In situ resource utilization. That is the kind of thing. Okay, there only you utilize. Okay, nowadays, it is relatively easy. 3D printing is there. Okay, you can build machines, you can build industries. It's not as easy as I am talking, but still that's a paradigm shift is there. So that is the kind of thing. Now, utilize there, otherwise bringing it back and all those things, it is not possible. First of all, to land itself is difficult, to come back. Anyway, I didn't say many things. I want to reserve it for August 23rd. What is the significance of India's achievements? Okay. Let me reserve it for the next month's program. At that time, we'll have a good program. We'll have a good exhibition also. I can promise you. Kindly do visit and tell your friends. So, we'll request ISRO also to help us. Let us hope for the best. I am sure that they would lend us a lot of YouTube live with you. ಅಲ್ಲಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. ಚಾನಲ್ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅದು. She will provide you this one. That is the kind of thing. Yeah. That's what. Not here, not to my knowledge, here in India, in the University of Texas, in Austin, they have a laser and they pointed it towards the moon. Neil Armstrong, he established that retroreflector, to that they pointed, and that's how I said, to the centimeter level accuracy is there. Yes, yes, quite powerful, quite powerful. No. Chandrayaan 3 lander laser reflector is not like that. That is far more smaller. From the orbiting spacecraft it can take. That is the kind of. So,
anyone else?
Any telescope? Telescope is working. Yes, we have programs. Anyway, you can contact Dr. Anand, he will tell you. Anyway, he will tell you. That's what, we have a lending program also. The thing is, you can talk to them. Okay? That's it. So, any other thing? Any other question? Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot. Once again, let me tell you, I'm not claiming anything I have done or anything. I'm communicating to you passionately what has been done, what is being done, what will be done. That is the thing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that very interesting talk. I thank you all for coming here, and those of you joining us online. So there is tea and biscuits being served outside. So please have that before you leave. Thank you.